Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is William Mount4, Blue News. I'm going to ask you cops, remember, I've been trained by the FBI Academy, our little 2-week training class. It was a short training class, but it was for seasonal law enforcement officers. How do you have a seasonal cop? Only the Forest Service could know, because they fired all the white males. Eventually, I left forestry, and I left being a police officer because I joined the Army because I could make rank. And then when I hit captain, I realized some really bad things and I left. They disabled me because they really disabled me. And then I opened an embassy and that gave me quite a few stars. So I'm going to ask you police a question. We've got a financial crisis about to hit. Your wives can't buy food. Or if they can, it's going to be poisoned government food. And we're going to have riots all over the streets, especially in the inner cities, where the gangs have been allowed to rob and destroy stores. Now, in New York, there's 600 people who account for 70% of the shoplifting in New York City. So if you had the 700 people in a FEMA camp and made them sew dresses or do something, shoplifting would almost disappear in New York City. But instead, all the grocery stores are gone from New York City, Chicago, San Francisco. I'll tell you, good luck finding a gas station and a restaurant and a gas station and a grocery store in the middle of Seattle. It ain't there. Or in the middle of Tacoma. They got one little grocery store. But they're all over the people in there. So these gangs start robbing that store. They'll close the doors the next day. Because they're not going to see their profits go down. So what's going to happen when these gangs can't steal food and can't buy food? They're going to start rioting. Because the police, you're ordered not to arrest them. So you're going to have riots in the cities. You're going to have a financial collapse where people can't get to the grocery stores to buy food. They're going to be stealing food left and right. They're going to bust down doors just to get a loaf of bread. Sounds like Nazi Germany in 1933, which is what they perpetrated before they went Nazi. Weimar Republic? This sounds like the Confederate States when the Confederate dollar collapsed in 1863 when they stormed the Capitol in Richmond. And the women demanded food. So the President Jefferson Davis threw all his money on the ground and said, "That's all I got." He's with them. He's in it with them. But the Confederate Capitol building had lots of food in it. So Jefferson Davis lied. He was a congressman. What do you expect? And then he was appointed president. He went to Atlanta and they moved the capital to Richmond, Virginia. Atlanta would have been a better place. Anyway, so what are you going to do? These are tough calls. You say, well, we got guns and we're all...
The problem is, Bill, with all of this scenario, the problem is we really don't know how and what things are going to come down and how. And so it's very difficult to prepare when you don't have all the facts.
I know that the Seattle and Tacoma police departments where I am don't have contingency plans for this.
No.
Otherwise, they'd be buying storable food. They'd pick up the phone and say, "Mount, what do you got?" "Well, I got storable food, and then you need some water. You need a couple of 10,000-gallon water tanks in your buildings. So when everything gets cut, you can flush the toilet and drink." But most of the cities, and I know the water company and the power company, order Mountain Mist water because they won't drink their own water because it's too poisoned. So the city workers drink Mountain Mist.
Yes, they do.
So we talked to Mountain Mist. Yeah, they don't even drink their own water. So I'm sure the Tacoma Police Department is smart enough to put in Mountain Mist. I'm sure the Seattle Police Department is. Although I don't know. Seattle's got some really stupid prosecutors up there. And when I went into the chief judge's courtroom and realized he was the chief satanic priest, married to Pat Shoup, and we talked about what he did on almost every week. So, I don't know. What are you going to do when you've got to quell a riot of 1,000 people at a Fred Meyer because they just shut their doors? And you got 6 people on duty because they've been cutting your police force. So you got 6 cops and you got 1,200 people rioting, and they're going, "I want some food. You can't cut off my food." What are you going to do when the welfare people lose their EBT cards? I mean, the whites are getting what, $25, $30 a month, and the blacks are getting $100 or $400 that we showed you. So now it's about $600 a month. So you got a family of 2 kids and yourself, and you're getting $6, $12, $1,800 a month on food stamps, and all of a sudden you get cut off, what are you going to do? Nobody's going to hire you because you've been on welfare. So what are your police going to do when this gal shows up with 2 kids and she needs to be fed? What are you going to do? Of course you're going to have compassion. She's got 2 little youngins. You're not going to say you can't have food. We've already decided if people walk by our fence, we'll feed the kids, but not the adults. Although we've got top ramen cups to feed the adults. I just don't have any spoons. So we'll give them a bottle of water like I did when I was homeless, cold water and top ramen. That's what I lived on. You put it in this mug. It holds the 4-ounce top ramen. Now they're down to 3 ounces. Did you know top ramen shrunk its size, Jane?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they shrunk and tripled the price. That's over the last few years. But top ramen fits in there, a little bottle of water and an hour later, a little salt. Or maybe they're flavor packet with lots of chemicals and you got a meal. When your stomach's empty, it's empty, man. And you do bad things to fill it. So I just want to ask you police officers what you're going to do as you slide down the razor blade of life. What you going to do? Life is like a sewer. What you get out of it depends on what you put into it. Are you going to allow the people to eat, or are you going to save Fred Meyer? What you going to do when we go all digital, people start burning things down? I don't know. I'm not in your shoes. Me, if a building's burning, I go the other way. If there's a crowd, I go the other way. Because we have food and water. We have toilet paper. We have ammunition. So come here, you'll be defended. Food, water, toilet paper, ammunition, heat, communications. We've got gold and silver and medicines, not a lot, and most of it's off-site. And then we've got an updated computer because we were smart enough to update our computer before the parts weren't available. So we went from a floppy drive to an electronic drive. We increased the memory. We almost doubled our memory on a 5-year-old computer. What used to take 15 minutes to load up was loaded up in 3 minutes. It's 5 times faster. And then we eliminated Opera because it's screwing with a hard drive. Anyway, just asking the question. God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you bright and early
Next time. Because
sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's 2 weeks before we publish this. There's just a lot going on in our life. And we keep 3 and 4 open in case we're kicked off of 1 and 2. But I'm asking these questions now so you can ask your police chief, what's the best way to get rid of rioters? What did the gal at that restaurant say? Go fill it up with sewer water and spray the rioters with poop? Get the fire truck to suck up the sewer water that smells like poop and spray the rioters with poop.
Mm-hmm.
It'll disperse a riot instantly, but you better have a lot of cops there because somebody's may shoot back. So if there's guns and sewer water, start asking the questions. Because as macho as you are and as much testosterone runs in your veins, you got a coming up problem because you can't enforce what's coming. There just aren't enough field officers on the ground. You just aren't enough. God bless. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.